Hello, I'm Don Mooers, and welcome to Montgomery Week in Review. We've got a great show for you this week. The summers are important, just like the fall and spring for Montgomery College, both for planning and providing education for its thousands and thousands of students. Brad Stewart, provost of the Tacoma Park Silver Spring Silver Spring campus, is here to give us all the details and so much more. Dairy farming in Maryland, as well, including Montgomery County, still an important industry, although it is a lot smaller and it's gotten a lot harder to make money than it used to be as a dairy farmer. Charlotte Davis, Executive Director of the Rural Maryland Council, here to explain. Older cars can be updated to include some of the new safety measures. All of this for a reasonable amount of money so you don't have to go out and buy a new car. This is only one of the many, many students in the June edition of the Beacon newspaper. Stuart Rosenthal, editor and publisher of the Beacon, one of the great publications of our area, is here to tell us about this story and so many others. Is it too late to get into shape for the summer? With only a week to go before the summer starts, Henry Hailstock comments for this program on a regular basis, here to remind us what we should be thinking about our bodies, not just with a week to go before the summer, but all year long. Hey, Brad, welcome back.
Hi, Don.
Always great to see you. And again, I want to thank you for all that you did in facilitating my class at Catholic University Law School.
You're most welcome.
What a great relationship. You got great students at the Tacoma Park Silver Spring campus.
All of Montgomery College has great students.
Well, but you only, yes, they do. Yes, no. But way to not be parochial. The college, so much going on. Summer, isn't summer almost as active as the fall and spring?
Yeah, we don't miss a beat. We have 2 summer sessions for credit students. We're 2 weeks into the first one already. Looks like we'll have about somewhere over 12,000 students take at least one course at Montgomery College over the summer. It's not too late. If you want to sign up for courses, July 10th is the start of summer 2 classes.
Okay.
And we'll have a full array of everything from anthropology to zoology for you.
Anthropology, zoology, all the ologies. What? Who are your students? Who are those 12,000?
The majority of them are regular Montgomery College students. They're on their pathway to transferring or earning a career degree. Okay. And so they're just taking care of business. They're just forging on.
You know, my son who went to Virginia Tech, that's a plug, really came back in the senior year. He didn't want to do any kind of courses during the summer at Virginia Tech, so he came back here and took a course in personnel, which was one of the requirements he had to take at Montgomery College. Yeah,
we call those guest students, and there's several thousand of those probably enrolled. Courses are really popular, like calculus. Sometimes students are working ahead in their program. Sometimes they're doing a little transcript repair from what happened last academic year at their home institution.
Wait, it seemed to me that summer could have a lot of benefits going to school. You're in air-conditioned rooms, for instance, during the day, but there's a sense where it's not as helter-skelter as I think you see in the fall and spring semesters. You can just focus on the study. It's a little more relaxed outside of the classroom. Is that?
Yeah, there are some courses which are made for the summer. Calculus is one of those. If you go to class 4 days a week and spend 2 or 3 hours learning calculus, it stays with you. You retain what you need to know from one day to the next. Sometimes if you're on a Tuesday, Thursday schedule during the regular semester, that's difficult. Same thing's true in biology and chemistry. Arts classes where students can concentrate for an entire day on a particular class are also very appropriate for summer.
Well, plus isn't it appropriate that most of the classes are small?
Yeah, that's another thing too. Psychology at Montgomery College is about 30 students. Psychology at state universities is 300.
Yeah. Well, and you're also offering these at an affordable rate, right? I mean, usually people are going to the community colleges because it's an alternative to these expensive 4-year
Yeah, that's
colleges.
the least that Henry's son paid for a class is when he took one.
Exactly. Trust me.
And you have a lot of older adults who like audit classes or take arts classes and things of that sort. Do they come in the summer too, or they wait for the school year mostly?
Mostly that we do during the school year because a lot of seniors are off doing other things in their lives during the summertime.
Vacation.
Have sons and granddaughters visiting, etc.
Sure. So if I'm artistically disabled Are you going to be able to turn me into an artiste at Montgomery College, or is that too big a challenge?
We have levels of art classes for everyone. So if you just want to dabble and are not trying to make it a career, we have plenty of courses.
57 years, and I haven't graduated from stick figures. Do you give me much hope?
Maybe you should show up for summer dinner theater. Maybe you're a theater type of guy.
We'll talk about the summer dinner theater, because that's exciting.
Montgomery College has been famous for summer dinner theater for decades. These are student productions. Students do everything. The front of the house, the back of the house, they put on the meal that they have before the show. This year we're excited to offer Into the Woods as the first show of the summer, and then the second show is 7 Brides for 7 Brothers.
And is that participation from the audience? Do we see some actual brides and grooms coming out for any ceremonies?
Lord help him.
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
I've been married for 36 years. I'm not going there.
What else do we see? We got the classes, we got the dinner theater. What else is going on?
I'm particularly excited that the student art show from the year at the K-Fritz Art Center is up the entire summer. So if you're looking for a place to cool off when you're walking around in downtown Silver Spring, come into the K-Fritz building, go into the King Street Art Gallery. The coffee shop and the art store is right next door, and you can have a wonderful thing if it's 90 degrees and 90% humidity outside.
I think I'm going to do that. We have 30 seconds left. Take us ahead. Where are we headed in the Tacoma Park campus? Where are we headed as a college as a whole? Just real quick.
We're one of the biggest initiatives that the president has owned over the last couple of years is addressing the achievement gap. And so Montgomery College is a radically inclusive place where everybody succeeds, and all means all.
And we're going to see more of that every year.
Every year.
Brad, thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. Well, speaking of achievement gaps,
oh, wow.
Charlotte, we've got those dairy farmers are still trying to achieve success.
Yes.
We don't think of Montgomery County particularly in dairy farming center. We don't think of Maryland much, dairy farming. But let's talk a little bit about dairy farming in the state of Maryland.
Well, in Western Maryland, we do have a large number of dairy producers, and we used to have in the state about 800, but that has declined. So we have about a little over 400 left in this state. The main reason why we're seeing this loss is the cost of feed. Corn prices are at all-time highs, so as that input for these farmers, it impacts their ability to make up that price.
But it's not just feed. I mean, being a dairy farmer is hard work.
It used to be. It's not. We have mechanical, milkers now. Some of it's done by robots. It's all automated. Now they set it up so the cows walk in, milk themselves, and walk right out.
Wow.
And so it's not the drudge work.
So you
that
can
it used
teach
to
a
be.
cow nutrition.
Yes, you can.
What keeps these folks still in the business? I mean, again, the hard work.
I think it's the love of being the farmer, setting your own your own hours. You just need to make sure that somebody's watching over the herd. What we have seen is a fall off in demand for milk. People aren't drinking milk. Also, the schools dropped, including chocolate milk, the flavored milks, and that was what a lot of kids drank. So, there is a lot. The farm bureaus are, dying to bring back, either the 2% milks or the higher fat content.
Are they lobbying the school board?
They have been. It's mainly that flavored milk. I mean, the kids drink chocolate milk. That's what they drink.
It's got sugar too. It's not just.
But it's got too much sugar in it, so that's why it was dropped.
But it's still better than the sodas. Which
it is
what
better
the kids
than
coming
sodas.
Up and so
I would love to have had ice cream at school lunch.
Yeah.
I mean, how about that? Especially ice cream sandwiches. Yeah. But how do they combat the fact that most people are telling them, particularly fitness trainers and nutritionists, that milk is difficult for the human body to process. So how are they combating that?
Well, what we advise is that they consider value added, turning that milk, because milk's treated as a commodity and it's aggregated and goes through all its processes and then distributed, whereas they could be making cheese on their own premises, they could be selling it, they could also be inviting people onto their farms to better educate them about their industry, what they're doing, and we encourage that, trying to get people out there know where is your product coming from.
Let's transition to here in Montgomery County, because we still have a number of dairy farms here. we've got our ag reserve, and I think I dare say that's even though it's a third of the county land, the folks living on the other 2/3 don't really think about the ag reserve at all, and it is one of our most valuable assets, and hopefully
it's under a lot of pressure for development. I mean, we see a lot of, you see the mega churches coming in, you see a lot of housing developments. So that land's very expensive. So when we're looking at alternative methods like the intensive grazing, or to try and be more organic and more environmentally friendly, that's incredibly expensive when you're talking about the value of land in this county. So we see a lot of folks that are interested in agriculture in this county commute out. They buy land or rent land outside, either west or on the eastern shore, and then they essentially commute so that they can make a living.
So why is it important, agriculture in Maryland? What's, Maryland is...
For resiliency. I mean, look at the threats to NAFTA. We get a lot of our produce from Canada or from Mexico and Central America. If something were to happen to that trade deal, that leaves us a lot of gaps in where we are acquiring our produce and our products. So are we looking at, do we want our chickens to be coming from Brazil? Do we want to buy milk from China? I think it's more important.
Look at the produce itself. I mean, we're getting some of the products from Italy. We're getting some other products from France and even Germany in the grocery store. So you do have to be aware of that.
And there's something really important about growing up on a farm. I grew up in Iowa, although I lived in a town of 1,700 people, and there's a whole work ethic. A whole citizenship ethic, stuff like this that people develop in rural areas. It's a great lifestyle.
Yeah. It's a community, because it's not just the farm itself, but it's all the support services that are supporting that farm. You got the vets that come in that take care of the cows, and you've got the milk haulers that are coming in the trucks. So there's all these support industries that help build that economy, and we want to make sure that we have access to this food, and we feel that if residents and constituents understand how it's being produced and where it's coming from, they'll be more comfortable with it.
20 seconds left, 15 seconds left. Future. Tell us agriculture 5 years from now.
Well, it's going good, but I think we're seeing definitely more growth in value added, and in particular with the alcohol industry, with craft brewing, with the distilleries that we see coming up. So it's a great time to be in agriculture in terms, but we want to get past the commodities and into the value added.
Cheese and beer.
Yep.
Beer.
And ice cream.
Beer and ice cream. Thanks, Charles. We'll be right back after these messages. And we're back. Stuart, welcome back.
Thank you.
Had a chance to thumb through the Beacon, this month's Beacon, when I was at the library checking out a book, and there it was, and I saw people getting their Beacon. I was encouraging more people to get the Beacon.
Thank you.
It's another great episode. So in there, interesting story on retrofitting a car. You don't have to buy a car necessarily to get all those gadgets.
There are all these new safety features on all the new cars today. Collision avoidance, lane change warning, backup cameras, all these kinds of things. And they really are proven to save lives and property damage. They're very helpful. So what do you do if you don't want to buy a whole new car? You like your car, it's still got years of life into it, but it doesn't have any of these things. So they have lots of aftermarket products, and they're relatively inexpensive.
That's great.
You can get a backup camera, put it on the back of your car, then you have on your dashboard a little screen that lights up whenever you go in reverse, and it shows you what's behind you, right? Then there are sensors that warn you when you're drifting out of a lane or you have a blind spot and someone's coming in on that side. And then there's the collision avoidance warning. It's not the same thing as those cars that have the automatic emergency braking, but it's close.
It warns you.
It gives you a few seconds warning that you need to hit the brakes or move.
Where can you get these?
On Amazon, from Pep Boys. I mean, they're available. The article says for $500 you can get all three of those things.
Is that right?
Yeah. And
that's cheaper than buying them at the...
That's reasonable.
It's less than just adding the options package on a new car, right?
Well, they're not options anymore. I mean, for the most part, they're in.
Gradually, they're becoming more.
And Pep Boy and some of the other garages can put it on for you, right?
That's right. That costs a little more, but yeah, if you can do it yourself, you save even more money. But it's nice to know that you don't have to buy a new car and you can still keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
Another, I mean, every month I'm amazed by how many great stories. We've also got, we were talking about milk earlier.
Right.
Food intolerance.
That's
Isn't
right.
that's an issue that doctors and other nutritionists are learning so much more about?
And we're hearing about it from all ages, but especially as you get older, because our bodies digest less effectively. Your body produces less of the enzymes that you need to digest food, so you have more and more of these kinds of problems, both from like lactose intolerance and gluten sensitivities, but also from additives, preservatives, and sulfites, MSG, that kind of thing.
So what are we learning?
Well, if you think you're having some problems with your digestion and you want to know what's causing it, what do I need to do, then take a food diary. You just have to write down every meal you eat for 2 weeks to a month.
Okay.
And after each meal, what your results are. Are you having trouble or not? And eventually you'll narrow down at least some of the products that are causing you a problem. At that point, you cut them all out of your diet for a few days, and then you gradually add them in one at a time. And then you can see which one of them is causing you the problem.
Cake.
Now, it's not quite as easy as it's, yeah, right. Ice cream, no. But ice cream, that's a problem, actually.
Brussels sprouts.
But it can be the amount that you eat. Maybe if you have a smaller amount, it won't be as much of a problem.
Right.
And there are even issues, I didn't know this, that with combining foods, for example, you may be fine with cheese or fine with tomatoes, but pizza gives you trouble. So you might have to try sort of combining some things to see if that's your issue. But
because then you could be much more, I mean, as we know more about this, and I think next levels are going to be to have foods that are directed to the individual, and so be able to retain and get more vitamins, more nutrients, and everything else,
that's
so
a good
that
point
live
that you
longer.
I'm glad you raised that point, because a lot of people who are concerned with gluten, and it's not the same thing as celiac disease. Celiac is an autoimmune disorder, which is very serious.
Right.
But some people are just sensitive to the gluten. If that's the case, and you cut out all wheat and rye products, all those things, and you're going to be in trouble. You're not going to get a lot of the vitamins that you need and a lot of the fiber that you need. So you need to be sure you substitute things that are healthy that you're otherwise losing.
Well, that's why a lot of serious athletes, particularly professionals, have their own nutritionists with them, so they can eat the proper meals and everything,
ready
so
for the
that they can
matches.
perform.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you this: we're great news on the aftermarket products.
Right.
We're so-so, but looking good on the nutrition.
Right.
But you got a real downer
finance,
about college, about student debt.
That's right. It's really surprising. I was surprised to see this.
By the way, I want to make sure Henry broke the news earlier.
Oh, okay.
But so
I
this is a
missed that.
follow-up. So this is good.
All right,
But you've got some
good.
more details.
that there's double the amount of older adults who are in debt now than there used to be. Just as the younger people are dropping debt and paying off their credit cards and whatnot, older people are increasing. And it turns out that a lot of it has to do with student loan debt. And it's not so much that seniors are going back to college and paying high tuition, it's that they're signing loans for their kids and their grandkids.
Isn't there a special issue, though, then, if you're retirement, about
Of
Social
course,
Security,
very
disability?
very serious.
What
Well,
happens?
some of these loans are federally insured loans. If you co-sign on a federally insured loan and your kid or grandkid can't pay it off and it comes back to you and you can't pay it off, they're going to dock your Social Security or your disability checks.
Wow.
So it's very serious, and also it's going to affect your credit rating, and it'll be more expensive to borrow money for other things. It'll affect your mortgage if you still have a mortgage. There's so many ramifications for retirement of this kind of thing. The advice is,
Don't do it.
Yes, don't do it. Really, don't do it.
Right.
If you have the money to help your grandchild, then give them the money.
Yep.
There's $14,000 a year per person you can give without tax. Give
And
tax.
send them to Montgomery College, or send them
Another good
to a
idea.
state school instead of
and
going to
feed them
that
ice cream.
school.
So I mean, you're
Promise me we'll be back next month.
I would love to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. And to add perspective on health and maybe everything else, we had Henry Hailstock. Welcome back.
Nice to be back.
So, Henry, you're former NFL player, known as a very aggressive golfer, on the honest but aggressive out there. You're a man who prides himself in staying in shape.
We're trying to.
Try to stay in shape. But we've got some issues. I mean, a lot of people, summertime, oh my gosh, I now need to get in shape. And that's not
We
the
joke
right
about
thing
it.
to do.
We joke about it a lot, and we have a saying for it. But you've heard people say the weekend warrior.
Yep.
Okay, and that could be really a detriment to somebody's physical well-being. If you're going to want to work out and get ready so you can get in shape for the summer, going around with the swimsuits and everything else, although I was down Myrtle Beach and I saw some people that shouldn't be in swimsuits. But
So I should put away my Speedo? Is that what you're saying?
please,
I'm just asking.
please. A moderate exercise like walking or moderate, exercising is fine. you know. But if you're going to do more rigorous workout, I suggest please go to your doctor to get a checkup to see what you can.
Stress tests and other things to make sure that you're not going to drop dead as soon as you.
Heart, you know, because if you have asthma, if you have some heart problems, if you have consistent aches and pains and everything else, you know, go to the doctor and check it out and see what you should and shouldn't do. That's very important. Otherwise, you know, do things in moderation, and that's the key. Don't come out here and say, okay, I got to start, you know, I want to get ready, get strong enough to do certain things, so you're going to go in and think you're going to lift weights and everything else, and that's it.
But one of the problems are minds, because we all remember back when we could do these things. And you know, my eyes look the same, and you know, can I still go lift those weights?
I don't think it's so much
go run?
Mine is more so the ego.
If you work your way up to it, yes, you probably can. But you
exercise.
can't just jump right into it. That's the point.
And you see what they're saying? Work your way up to it. That's the key. Start out, you know, start out low to see what you can tolerate. Now, if you've been doing it for a while, that's fine to start stepping it up. But if you're just starting out, start out slow.
But what about when it's like 98 degrees and 80% humidity? I mean, I don't want to go outside.
Good point. Very good point. I mean, first of all, if you're going to go out there and do it in the heat and everything, you're going to have to stay hydrated. And if you're doing a real strenuous exercise, make sure you're drinking not only water, but something going to replenish the electrolytes. That's the key. My suggestion is do it early morning or late evening when it cools off a little bit. More importantly, during the summer, going to a you know, air-conditioned gym is probably best, especially as you're going to just starting out.
Walk, you know, talking about retail shopping malls are having difficulty, but indoor malls, you know, more and more they're becoming a place for walkers and just walking all around. I don't know how much shopping they're doing, but
I've seen them. I've seen them out there, and that's great to do that. But you know, be smart about what you're doing. And really, you can't. If you were able to bench press 250 before. You know, start out light, do 125 starting out, build it up to that.
Yeah, Charlotte, go ahead and start off with 125.
Yeah, I'll try.
You'll get to 250 real soon.
You know, something like that, because, you know, really, you know, if you're going to have consistent pain, the realistic thing is like 12 hours, 24 hours after an exercise, you're going to be a little sore, okay? Now, if this soreness lasts for a week or so, go see a doctor. I mean, it's going to be natural to be a little sore starting out in anything. But if it's persistent, you've done something wrong.
Isn't a big part of getting in shape and looking good watching your diet?
Absolutely.
I don't think you can exercise your way out of a bad diet.
I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm the one person that cannot recommend a whole lot of stuff because I eat bad. Okay, my son will tell you that. My weak point is ice cream. You know, don't tell me to give up ice cream. But the key is moderation. Yep. All right, understanding that. I do have a family to make sure I do put in the nutrients in there, and I also buy some of the items at the store, like the protein shakes, the protein bars. That helps. It really does, and it keeps you regular and keeps you, you know, putting the what you need in there. If you're doing exercise that's going to be a little strenuous and telling you.
I've got some advice from you, Charlotte here. Good, fresh Maryland food products.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes, we have an ice cream trail. We encourage everybody to go visit all the dairies.
Actually, that's very true, and it takes nothing to really look at it and get it. You'd be surprised at some of the nutrients, the fiber that you can get that's really good for you. Now, I hate Brussels sprouts, but the way my wife fixes it, I'll eat it. You know, but one of the things that
we got only 30 seconds left.
Okay, the one thing I want to make sure that you understand is if you do something on a regular basis, consistent, more and more and more, playing tennis, running, jogging a lot, it's going to affect your knees, it's going to affect your shoulders. Swimming, if you're doing that every day, it's going to wear and tear on your body. So try to do different exercises, different routines, so it won't be straining on any one particular joint. That's the key.
Well, having you here is no strain at all. Having all of you here has been a great pleasure. And I want to thank all of you, viewing audience, for joining us as well for this week's edition of Montgomery Weekend Review. I'm Don Mooers, inviting you next week, at this very same time, to join us again.